But what do you want her to know about her grandmother?
My mom was a pioneer. To come to this country by yourself in your mid-20s and knowing you have children back in your home country, and such a hard worker. My mom, she dropped out of RD for whatever reason, I don't know. And she came to this country. After she was here permanently, she took a test to work for NINEX and she got the job. So my mom was able to retire from NINEX. So she was able to retire, and my mom didn't have a high school education and had an amazing retirement with pension and all that.
Oh, wow.
And then moved to Florida, got her GED at the age of 51,
Wow.
52, and then went to work in a second career as an LPN.
Yeah, she is a pioneer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And very Jamaican. She had 2 jobs, 3.
Yeah. It's like she kept reinventing herself. Renaissance.
Yes,
woman.
absolutely.
Yeah.
She's a pastor's wife, an evangelist. She worked in the city as a trunk assigner, and then came and had a second career until she ended up passing away. And I want her to know, Mommy was a pioneer. She was unstoppable.
Welcome to the Sweet Mother Podcast. This podcast was created to provide a platform for women to tell the powerful stories of the lives and legacies of their late mothers, the women who helped shape them into becoming who they are today. My name is ssolanke, and in this episode, I had the privilege of speaking with photographer and culture blogger Candice Wright about the life and legacy of her Jamaican mother, Dorothy Laura Wright. If you enjoy these episodes, please subscribe to the podcast and consider leaving a review on whichever platform you are listening. This helps us get these stories out to as many people as possible. Welcome, viewers, to this episode of the podcast. So my guest today is Candice Wright. Welcome to the show, Candice.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. And Candice is here to tell us all about the life of her mother. But before we dive into that, tell us about you. Who is Candice?
Oh, my goodness. I call myself a multi-passionate person. I sing, you know that.
Yes.
I also am a photographer.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do mostly weddings. I do portraits as well. I also am a humor blogger.
Yeah.
I call myself a humorist. My humor blog is called Cultured Candice.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And yes, and so I talk a lot about my Jamaican American upbringing as a Jamaican, and just a lot of jokes about pop culture.
Is that the term, Jamaican? Because I've never heard that.
Jamaican.
That's the term?
I'm Jamaican. Yeah.
Jamaican. I like that.
Right.
Now I want to create one for myself. For Sierra Leone and American. I don't know what that would be.
Right. Oh my gosh, I have to think of it. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So, and you're married and you have a child, right?
Yes. Her name is Arrow.
That's such a cool name.
Irie. Yes. Her middle name is Irie, as in the Jamaican term Irie, which means good and pleasing.
Oh.
So, yes. Her name is Arrow Irie Schumann.
Oh, she's so beautiful. She is, but she's so cute.
She's feisty.
Yeah, she's feisty. Does she get that from you or from our dad?
Yes, from me and from my mother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. So, the first time I met you is, I don't know if it's the first time actually, but this is when I think of you, I think of this memory. I think of 2007. It was my grandmother's funeral, and you must have been college friends with my younger sister.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys were in the varsity together or just in classes together.
In the varsity.
Yeah. And she had invited you to sing at my grandmother's funeral, and you got up and you sang, and it was beautiful. And my sister whispered over to me and said, "Oh, by the way, she just did the same thing at her mother's funeral." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
And she said that you'd sang at your mother's funeral. And that always stuck with me, because I was like, this was my grandmother's funeral, and she's not even my mom, she's my grandmother, but still, if I had tried to get up there to even speak, I would have just collapsed. I wouldn't have been able to get through it without crying. So I was just thinking, how did she do that? How did you get the strength to sing at your own mother's funeral?
Well, my sister sang next to me.
Okay.
So that helped out. But I come from a family of singers. So my dad is probably, I would say, the most famous singer, gospel singer in Jamaica.
Wow, I did not know that. No, he's not.
Yes.
He's not Luciano, is he?
No.
Okay.
His name is Otis Wright.
Oh wow.
Yes.
I did not know
And so I grew up in a singing family where you sang during rain, sleet, or snow.
that. Oh wow.
In good times and bad times.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad was a recording artist, and he actually was inducted into the Jamaican Music Hall of Fame. I cannot
Oh my
remember what
goodness.
year. Yes, in the same round as Bob Marley.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
And they were both second round inductees. I'm like, wow, you
Mm-hmm.
would who's the first round, you know?
Yeah. Whoa.
Yes.
So he is Jamaican music royalty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
Every musician you know now that are Jamaican musicians, my dad was the first. His single was the first crossover into the United States, and it was called Crackers Rush.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's the first recording artist in Jamaica to cross over to the States
Yeah.
and to Great Britain.
That is incredible.
Yes.
Wow. So I was gonna
no,
say,
yeah.
so he paved the way for Shabba Ranks.
Yep. Yep. Shabba, who else? All of them.
Yeah.
Even Bob.
Yeah.
Even Bob. And to go back to that, with speaking about my mother, I don't know if I'm diving into it this early.
Go ahead.
But my dad and my mom met in Frenchtown in Kingston. My grandfather was a pastor, and my dad was underneath his ministry.
Okay.
And at the time, Rita Marley was going to my grandpa's church.
Is that Bob Marley's wife?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that's where my dad met Bob, and they would go into the studio together in Studio One in Frenchtown in Kingston, right? And record. But my dad was first a secular artist.
Oh.
And then, yes. So, and that's how his single crossed over. But my dad became a Christian, was converted, and he started singing gospel music. And Bob would encourage my dad to sing, secular music. After my dad became a Christian, he said no. He wanted to keep singing for the Lord.
That's awesome. I feel like it's usually the other way around. They start off gospel and go to secular.
Right. Yeah. But no, it was this way. Yeah. My dad had a radical conversion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's like, no, I'm singing for the Lord for the rest of my life. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's back it up. Before he met your mom, let's talk about before that, your mother's childhood. What do you know about her childhood in Jamaica? It was in Jamaica, right?
Yes. My mom was born in Kingston.
I should ask you what her name was, actually.
Her name is Dorothy Laura Laird. That's what she was born as, Laird. What's funny is she had two birth certificates. One that said Laura Dorothy, and the other one that said Dorothy Laura.
Oh boy.
So as she got older, she had to choose which one she went with. So she went with Dorothy Laura. She was born Laura Dorothy.
Oh, okay.
First, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was born in Kingston in December 11th, 1942. And her father was a pastor, like I told you, of a church called Redeemed Church of God in Frenchtown. And the notable member is Rita Marley. Her whole family went to my grandpa's church and was baptized. My grandpa baptized Rita. And they all sang on the choir with my mom. Wow. And that's where my mom met my dad. My dad came into that church and met the pastor's daughter and fell in love with the pastor's daughter.
Was this before he became a recording artist?
He was like in the middle. That's when he was secular. Yeah. And then he, converted to Christianity and then married my mom.
Oh, okay. So you know how old she was when she married?
She got married in 1964. Okay. So I want to say she was 22.
Okay.
If I'm doing my math right.
Yeah. So what do you know about her education before she got married? Was she able to go to university?
She was first at Trenchtown School. And then she got a scholarship to go to Ardeen High in Kingston, which is a prominent school. It is prestigious.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So for her to get that scholarship, was it by her academic means?
Academic
Oh,
achievements.
okay.
And it was an all-girls school at the time.
And
So it's still a prestigious school.
mm-hmm.
Notable graduates from that school is Jodianne Maxwell.
Uh-huh.
Jodianne Maxwell is the first non-American to win the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And the second notable member, I mean, there's many, but that I feel like your audience would know is, the singer Coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, she sings tours.
Uh-huh.
Yes. She
Oh,
went to that school as well.
oh wow. So your
Yeah.
mom was hobnobbing with the future rich and famous and successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an interesting background. So she must have been a
Yeah.
very strong student academically.
Yes. Yes. But she ended up dropping out of school and I'm not sure why. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't because of grades. I'm not sure. I asked my uncle and I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
But she ended up getting her GED at 50 here in the States.
Oh, wow.
After, yes, at 50, she ended up getting her GED and going into a second career as an LPN.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good for her.
But her
Mhm.
first career while she was in the States after she came over was she worked for the phone company NYNEX in New York.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that.
Uh-huh. In
Yeah.
Manhattan. Yep. She worked as a trunk assigner, which I don't know what she did. I don't know. I don't understand what they do. I tried to research it. I remember her position, but I cannot tell you what they did.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is that I would bug her at home and call into
Oh,
work
yeah.
for everything.
Yeah. So
Yes.
would you say that their marriage was a happy marriage?
No.
Oh, really? That's a hard thing for a child to admit, actually. It's true.
Maybe in
Yeah.
the beginning,
Yeah.
but no.
Oh,
And they
okay.
were married for 25 years.
25. Okay. So they got divorced then?
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
My parents separated around 1991,
Mm-hmm.
and we were living in New York. And my mom moved to Florida, and my dad stayed in New York.
Oh, that's how you ended up in Florida.
Yes, I ended up in Port Charlotte, Florida.
Oh, okay. I think there's a large is there a large immigrant community down there?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Haitians, Jamaicans,
Yes.
mostly, yeah.
Yeah, because I seem to know of a lot of people from Caribbean islands who
Oh,
grew
yeah.
up there.
And we
Yeah.
stuck together there, boy. We stuck together.
Yeah.
Because it's a largely white community of retirees.
Oh, I see. That makes
So,
sense. South
yeah.
Florida. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
stuck together in that community.
Yeah. What do you know about your mom's relationship with her mom?
It was not the best either.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow. What was the
No,
conflict?
I feel like the conflict, from what I was told, is that my mom was a daddy's girl because she was the only girl.
Oh,
It was my uncle, who is my half uncle, but I don't consider him my half. He's my whole uncle.
yeah.
Then it was my mom, and then it was her younger brother, my other uncle, the one I speak to about her history.
Yeah.
Yes. He lives in Ocoee. He lives in Ocoee, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand is that my mom was the apple of my grandfather's eye. And I
Oh,
think that would cause some friction.
yeah.
My grandmother was a homemaker. She didn't have work outside the home. And it just sounds like there was some, I don't know, maybe a little jealousy,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it happened.
It does happen. I've heard of it. It sounds strange, but it does happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mothers can be jealous of their children.
Yeah.
And that's what my mom would tell me.
Yeah.
And, my mom was a Caribbean woman. So, I mean, that didn't stop her from taking care of my grandmother. She'd bring her over from Jamaica to, New York and take care of her no matter how much my grandmother
Yeah.
would be really verbally abusive, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But when I say a little bit, maybe I'm trying to soften it, but this is what I heard and saw. But, my mom still honored her and would
Yeah.
take care of her.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
a bit. Yes.
Yeah. So what about your mom? What was her parenting style?
A little bit authoritarian.
Oh, okay. How many of
But
you? How many kids does she have?
there's five. There's
Okay.
five of us.
Uh-huh.
And my mom was authoritarian, but very loving,
Oh, okay.
very affectionate.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. She'll hug you, cuddle with you for no reason. I was the baby,
Okay.
and I was born when she was 39, turning 40.
Okay.
Just like I have my daughter at 40,
Yeah.
the same. And my mom's so affectionate. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. But she was no joke too.
yes. It's that West Indian parent, right?
Oh, absolutely. You don't cross her.
Yeah.
You don't cross her. But she was very loving and very spiritual, very a woman of God.
Yeah.
Like I swore she was like her and Jesus went to school together. Like she and Jesus went back. Like,
Yeah.
just very and was very genuine with her spirituality. It
Yeah.
wasn't she wasn't hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
What you see is what you
Yes.
what you got.
She lived
Yes.
it. She lived it out, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
did she have you guys living in church? A lot of West Indian and African moms do that.
Oh, living in church?
Like not literally, but like you're always there.
Oh no, literally. I was at church. Oh my goodness. When was I not at church? Because my dad was a pastor.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. After he came over, my mom brought him over to the States, She came here first.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. So she came here. She left my brother and my sister at the time. They were like 2 or 3
Mm-hmm.
in Kingston while she came here to pave the way.
When was that?
That was 1966.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my brother was just born. Happy birthday. Today's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
So he was just born, and my mom came over and left my brother and my sister, who are 1 year apart, in Kingston to be raised by my grandmother while she came to the States to, pave a way to bring my dad and my siblings over.
Yeah.
So she came here to work at first, and my dad was still back in Jamaica. And she came here, and under the table, she was a nanny, a maid.
Oh, okay.
And a housekeeper, I should say. Better terminology.
Yeah.
And so she went back to Jamaica because you have to go back sometimes. You can't stay over here,
Yeah.
for immigration.
Yes.
So she went back and they asked her a question. They said, "Hey, did you work while you were over in the States?" And my mother, being the Christian,
Oh.
I'm not gonna lie about it. She's like, "Yeah, I worked." They're like, "Okay, we have to penalize you."
Oh no.
So she had to stay in Jamaica for like I think 8 months to a year.
Oh, I
And then
thought it
she
was
was allowed
longer
to
than
come
that.
back over.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was like a year. They penalized her for a
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, Mom, I would have to, I'm gonna be honest. I would have said something. I would have said no.
Yeah.
But she's she was a great Christian woman.
Yeah.
She was just honest to a fault.
I will say that sometimes they set you up. Sometimes they'll ask you that question, and when you
Yeah.
say no, they'll show you the proof.
Absolutely. So that was wise, right? And
Yeah.
especially now when everything is like electronic,
Yeah.
they will definitely be like, oh, well, on this day at
Yeah.
4 a.m. So, especially now, you really can't get away with it like so easily, I should say.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
she went back and then she brought my dad over. And then and my siblings. And then my dad ended up starting a church in Brooklyn, in the heart of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
The year I was born.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so my dad became a pastor.
Does that church still exist?
It does.
Oh, wow. What's it called?
It does. It's called Good Life Deliverance
Oh, okay.
Ministries. Yeah. And it's off of East 51st and Church.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. And your father was the founding pastor?
Yes, he was.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah, and he was still, a recording artist.
Mm-hmm.
And would still, tour, go in Jamaica, go to Fort Lauderdale, sing and hold concerts. And,
Oh, wow.
we also had a recording studio in our home.
Oh,
in
wow.
Long Island. Mm-hmm.
How cool.
Yeah.
Did you have like people coming to your house, to the recording studio, who were like famous?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would say, Jamaican famous, right?
Yes, yes.
Claudel Clark. Uh, who else? Alton. He actually, I talked to him. Him and my dad were they were singing mates. You know, they did a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
duets together.
Okay.
So yeah. Who else? Alton Crooks. Let me give his whole name. Alton Crooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's his name.
Oh.
So yeah, we I remember I was taking care of my dad before he passed.
Mm-hmm.
And about a year before he passed, I got a knock on the door in New York, and it was a New York Times reporter.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay. And he was like, he was like, I'm coming here to interview your father. I guess he was talking to some other Jamaican artist, and they mentioned Daddy's name. And they're like, if you want to know about any Jamaican artists now, you need to go back to the original recording artist, which
Yeah.
was my father.
Yeah.
So he did his research, and he thought my father had passed on. But
Oh,
someone said, nope, he's alive. He
yeah.
lives in New York.
That-
So he sat for like 4 hours just interviewing my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have the picture of it. And so I was just amazed
That is amazing.
about, hearing that stuff. Because, he's my father. He doesn't sit
Yeah.
there and talk about his stuff,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, he and your mom was separated, divorced, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. My mom was passed on
Oh,
when
okay.
that New York Times reporter came to speak to my father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did your
Mhm.
mom ever remarry?
No.
Okay.
And my dad didn't either.
Okay. That's
They were best
interesting.
friends.
Oh.
They were best friends to the end.
Oh, that's
My
beautiful.
dad, yeah. Oh my goodness. I would come into the house in Florida and I'd be like, Mom, who you on the phone with? Your father? For hours. And I could
Wow.
not get away with anything because they talked for hours.
That's really cool, actually. That's
Yes.
really cool.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Like she told me before she passed, she's like, when I pass away, I want your father to do my funeral. And he did.
Oh. Oh, wow.
He did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they were best friends.
That's so cool. But it almost makes you wonder why they didn't just get back together, though. You know?
Right. I like them better apart.
Oh.
They fought less.
Okay. Yeah.
My childhood had a lot of fighting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And when they separated, they were so good and respectful and close,
Mhm.
and it was so lovely.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like them better apart.
Oh. You mentioned that your mom was a woman of faith who lived out the faith. It wasn't just lip service. It was what she actually lived. So
Mhm.
I was wanting to ask you, what did watching your mom growing up as a woman of faith, what did she teach you about dealing with challenges and adversities?
My mom was, I feel, she would talk to me a lot because she herself would describe herself as being naive.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so life and life situations would bring her into knowing more and being wiser.
Yeah.
So she would sit down a lot with me and talk to me about how people behave,
Yes.
whether they're in church
Mhm.
or in the secular world. She would educate me on, just because people say Jesus, Jesus, don't mean they mean Jesus. That's
Yeah.
what she would say to me.
Yeah. That's a very good lesson to learn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember before I went to Bible college for 3 years, but I went to World Harvest Church in Columbus, Ohio. It was
I know that.
Pastor Rod Parsley.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, before I went to Bible college, my mom sat me down and was like, "Listen here." She's like, "Everyone that said Jesus don't mean Jesus."
Mhm.
And I said, "All right, mommy, all right." I was naive because I was like, "Oh no, when people love God, they're good to people." And she's like, "No, honey."
Yeah.
She's like, you'll see." But that's how I feel like she taught. She taught me also to lean on God.
Yeah.
That God was faithful. That when
Yeah.
man failed, God's faithful.
Yeah.
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 And that's how she taught me to face adversities.
Yeah.
She'd also tell me things like, if you find yourself in a situation, you can always find yourself out of
Yes.
it. Like, don't settle
Uh-huh.
for less.
Yeah.
And that helped me out. Believe it or not, I was married before.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I was married before.
not to the guy from UB40.
Oh, no, not to him. I'm married to another guy before, not a UB40 singer. Yes. And I remember my mom telling me that a little bit before she passed because
Mm-hmm.
I was dating him, then my mom passed, and then I got married the year after my mom passed.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like my mom was seeing some things
Mm-hmm.
that were wrong,
Yeah.
and she didn't want to bring that to me because she was sick. You
Oh, I see.
know, she was on dialysis
Oh, okay.
and she was in renal failure,
Mm.
full renal failure. And I, she was trying to be wise and say, like, hey, listen, if you find yourself in something, a marriage, a bad marriage, you can always find yourself out.
Oh, wow.
Like, you can always not, you don't have to stay,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And she, I found myself hearing her words when I realized I was in a bad
Oh,
marriage,
boy.
you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, my mom said to me that, yeah, if I ever find myself in a situation, I can leave.
Yeah. It's
And
fun.
I did.
It's funny how moms can see those things when we can't, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And she didn't want to talk so negatively about the situation because, I mean, if you know you're not going to be around, right?
Yeah.
How do you not, how do you be sensitive to the situation, but impart wisdom at the same time?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she had a good balance of that.
Yeah.
She could have did the overarching Jamaican mom, like, I'm going to tell you what to do,
Yeah.
but she didn't. She played it cool. Basically, she told me to trust myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
and to trust that inner voice inside of me.
Yeah.
And I felt like if she would have did that forceful type mothering, even though I'm in my early 20s, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
adult,
Yeah.
it would have had more like a Romeo and Juliet effect.
Yes. Yeah.
It would have bound me closer
Mm-hmm.
to my ex-husband at the time.
Yeah.
So she knew how to tread
Yeah.
lightly with that.
Wise woman, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my friends used to call her, and I'd walk in the house again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, who you on the phone with? Oh, your friend. I'm
That
like, what?
that sounds like my mom. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. My friends to this day say, I miss your mother.
Oh.
And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, I would call Sister Wright for advice.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my, that meant so much to me.
Yeah.
And they would tell me, oh, you didn't know this, but I would call your mother and ask her. And, and my mom would never share it.
Yeah.
And they're my friends.
Yeah. That sounds like my mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have good mothers.
Yes. Yes.
We have. I don't even like to talk about her in the past because she exists still,
Yes. Yes.
just not on this plane.
Correct. And her influence is still felt, right?
Oh, absolutely. When I open my mouth, she comes out,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's my mother.
Yes.
Miserable.
Yeah. I find myself turning into her bit by bit every day.
Me too. I'm like, I'm miserable. I'm
Yeah.
just like my mother. But it's in a nice way. It's in a loving way.
Yeah. Yeah. Was she a prayer warrior?
Oh my goodness. You ready for stories?
Go ahead.
I used to lock my door at nighttime sometimes because I would hear the tongues coming.
Oh wow.
I was so tired.
Were you scared of the anointing oil coming to your head?
Yes. And dripping into my eyes while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So if I started hearing the tongues, like about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd get up and just lock the door. And then I'll hear her like jiggle the lock. And then I'll hear her like turn around and start speaking in tongues and going throughout the house and praying.
That's so cool.
I mean, it's so funny. I mean, now as an adult, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I could wake up hearing it, I'd lock the door a little bit because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
She'll get to me, and I'll wake up with her hand on my forehead. And,
that's funny.
Anointing oil in my eyes.
I just think it's so funny how there's so much crossover and similarities between African moms and West Indian moms, Caribbean moms.
Absolutely.
It's like the same people. It's the same people.
Absolutely.
Our stories are all the same,
Absolutely.
It's funny.
She was such a prayer warrior. I mean, shut-ins and this I call, I wake up to her on the phone praying for people, that prayer chains, all that.
Yeah.
And my mom would always lead. She was an evangelist,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So many people came to know the Lord through her
Yeah.
and her, just her witnessing.
Yeah.
And she just, like I said, she wasn't a hypocrite. Even her life, she would she would wear. I mean, you know, at the end of her life, she would start to wear her little culotte shorts because she only had to wear skirts.
Yeah.
She couldn't wear jeans,
Yeah.
but she would wear culottes.
Oh. Sounds cute.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that was her.
Yeah. When you think of like Jamaican culture and Jamaican heritage, and then you think of your mom, what do you comes to your mind?
Food.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. My mother could cook.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was like having a Jamaican restaurant in my home.
Yeah.
She cooked so well that this was funny. At her funeral, my friend Kizzy, is African American.
Oh, okay.
And
That's a cool
when
name.
she would visit, my mom would cook her curry chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend Kizzy wrote a note that said, "Thank you, I love you, and thank you for all the curry chicken you would cook me," and put it in my mom's casket.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
It
That's
was the
cool.
sweetest thing.
Oh.
My mom would cook everything: oxtail, rice,
Oh,
peas,
wow.
bami,
Wow.
breadfruit,
Oh my
ackee and
goodness.
saltfish,
Oh, wow.
fried dumplings, all of that. I'd
Yeah.
come home and I can't believe it. Like, as an adult, I appreciated that. I could not stand Jamaican food growing up as a kid because that's all we ate.
Yeah.
And I begged my mom for McDonald's. And we used
Yes.
to beg because at school they'll give you McDonald's.
Yeah.
So you're like, Mom, I don't want McDonald's. No, we have food at home.
There's rice at home.
I'm like,
There's rice at home.
tripe. I'm like, come on, I don't want rice and peas again. But as an adult, oh my God, I crave it so much.
Yes, it's the same for Africans.
Oh my
it's
goodness,
the same.
yes. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So did she impart any of that culinary skill with you unto you?
Listen here. I would beg my mom. I said, Mommy, please, I want to learn how to cook how you cook. All right. Come back in the kitchen. Come back. Give me 10 minutes. I come back, the food done. I'm like, Mom, every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mommy, come on. You can't do that. Because, you're young and you go off and you go watch TV, you forget.
Yeah.
You come back, the food done. And I'm like, Mom. But you know what I realized as I get older? That was her labor of love.
Yeah.
She didn't want to teach me. That was her way of wanting to love on us.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That's beautiful.
And I'm the same way too. I don't like people in the kitchen when I'm cooking. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That was her safe.
I'm the same way. Maybe because I have all boys and I just don't want them around me when I'm cooking, which is not good actually because I should be teaching them. But I'm the same way. Yeah. I get it.
Yes. I'm like, oh gosh, I had, my nephew actually cooks. He's 12 and he cooks amazing. And even him, I'm like, hey, listen, please don't be in the kitchen while I'm there. I guess it's my time, my sanctuary.
Yes.
At the time, just like, but my mom, it was a labor of love for her. Yeah. She just wanted to serve and just so I won't hold it against her too much.
Yeah. I think for me I remember as a kid that my dad would always try and push me in the kitchen to be with my mom and watch her cook all these African dishes. But I resisted him because I had 3 brothers and they were not being pushed into the kitchen. And I just resisted anything that I thought was patriarchy and, sexist.
I love that.
But then when I was older, I was like, oh, damn, I should have, But then I did get to spend a lot of time with her, my grandmother, my aunts, and just watch them. Because I learned from just watching. Like, you can write the recipe down for me, it means nothing. You can tell me, it means nothing. I just have to watch you. Yeah.
Right. That's the same thing with me. Like, I know how to cook ackee and saltfish. Right. But oxtail, I would have to look at a recipe. But my mom used to make everything. Black cake.
Yeah.
Sorrel. I know how to make sorrel. I make sorrel for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Yes, I do.
Sorrel on the black cake.
But this Christmas, this Christmas, I'm going to try to make black cake.
Okay.
just how my mom used to. And I remember her soaking the fruits
Yes.
in like Manischewitz and rum. I remember her doing
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, I know
and I
Jamaicans
was
soak their fruit in rum, but in England we soak it in brandy.
yes,
Months
yes,
before, by the way. Months
yes,
before.
months. So I have to get started. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have
It's
to get
time.
started
It's
about
time to get
October.
started now. No, you gotta get
Yeah,
started
it
now.
really is. It really is.
Yeah.
It is. So I'm like, I have to start because I
Yeah.
remember her with the
Yeah.
I think it was molasses or something she would put in the black cake.
Yes, the
And
molasses
she
is
let
in
me,
there. Hmm.
girl, I used to eat the batter. And I'm like, yeah, I can get
Yes.
drunk off the batter.
The batter's the best part. Yeah. Yeah.
But I loved it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Bringing me back.
I know, right?
Yes.
When you were getting married, did you feel your mom's absence?
Mm, okay, remember, I got married twice after she died. The
That's true.
first time I felt
Yeah.
her absence.
Uh-huh.
The second time when my dad passed away. The second
Mm-hmm.
time I got married,
Yeah.
I felt their presence.
I love that. So the first time you felt her absence, the second time you felt her presence.
Yes,
I like that. It's
yes.
beautiful. Yeah.
And maybe it's because I got married in Jamaica,
Yeah.
and I had a picture of both of them up while I was getting ready.
Oh,
And I also felt like, you know, they would, I kind of feel like they would approve of my
yes.
husband. My husband's very ambitious.
Okay.
And that's what my, Jamaican
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
African parents, they love ambitious people.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. When my sister got married in London a few years back, she walked down the aisle with a beautiful portrait of my dad because he passed away in 2014. She got married, I think,
Yeah.
4 years later. She walked down the aisle with a huge, I don't know the size, of a huge portrait of him. It was so beautiful.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just gets me in the heart.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I love that. I think it's so important. Even
Yeah.
when I shoot weddings, you have a parent that's passed on to honor them in some way.
Yeah.
And it is so nice.
So, when you look at yourself, what character traits do you see that remind you of your mom? You're like, oh my goodness, that's mommy.
Oh goodness. My discernment.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Like I can I don't want to sound I can read people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it's not for judgment, but it's just for observation.
Yeah.
You know? And I realized how annoyed I used to be that my mom was like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think being an American child, you just get annoyed with your parents. I think it's part of it.
Yeah.
Like, because my mom has such old Jamaican type ways of being,
Yeah.
And like, she'll be like, that friend's not for you.
Yes, I've heard
And
that
I'm
so many
like,
times.
Mom, come on, Mom,
Yeah.
like.
That was a common refrain for my mother.
Oh, yeah. Or, I dreamt that friend. That's not
Yeah.
that one. It's like, you always having a dream. What do you want, Luther King? What?
But I bet she was right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And I would sit there and litigate, like, Mom, no, the reason why this friend is good is because this is this. And she's like, yeah, no, no.
Yeah.
That one narrated. That's what she said. I'm like, oh, Mom, come on. And I'm like, you don't want me to have no friends. She's like, yeah, a good friend.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Not the riffraff.
Yeah. So
she was right.
Yeah, they're always right. Mm-hmm. My mom was the same way. Even as an adult, I hated her tell me that as an adult because I'm like, I'm grown. I can choose my friends. But she was right.
Yes.
She was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Just the things she would call out. And I'm like, wow. And I'm like that now. Yeah. But I have more, how would you say, more tact.
Yeah.
Like even like my husband, he comes to me a lot. He always says, Candice, you're wise. And he'll ask me about a situation. And I just, I try to say things without being so aggressive or, like, well, don't trust that person. No, I'm just like, okay, just, it's still my mother's delivery, but softer.
Yeah.
Like observe a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see myself in that. Like I could see my mom in that, I
Yes.
should say.
Uh-huh.
hmm
Yeah.
Just our ability to be very encouraging. My
Yeah.
mother was an encourager.
Oh, okay. Yes,
She
I see
was.
that. So this is one thing I noticed about you, because you can watch people from afar from Facebook, and even though you don't grow a deep friendship, you get to know people's character traits. And one thing I noticed about you is you said encourager. When somebody's doing well, you uplift them and celebrate them, especially if it's a woman, and
Absolutely.
especially if it's a woman of color.
Oh,
And a
absolutely.
great example is when is her name Sandra Oh
Yes.
won the Academy Award, right? First
Yes.
Asian American woman, and
Was it Sandra Oh?
was it Sandra Oh?
Yes, it was.
Was it
Wait,
Sandra Oh?
did she win? Or was it the other woman? The one from Everywhere All at Once.
Michelle
Was
Yeoh?
Michelle something
Yo?
Cho? I think it is Yo.
Oh my
Or
goodness,
man,
we're a
we're gonna
mess.
mash up her
We're a
name.
mess. So, and a lot of us were upset because our girl didn't win. Now she wasn't up for the same award. I'm talking about
Yes,
Wakanda Forever. Angela Bassett, who's been
yes, yes.
long past. So a lot of us were upset, but you still lifted up that woman for becoming the first
Absolutely,
Asian American winner. And I just
absolutely,
and you do that a lot. You always celebrate women, you know. And I love
absolutely.
that because a lot of women pull other women down, but you
Oh yeah,
celebrate.
oh
Yeah.
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 You have to you have to hold space for both, and that was a difficult night. And it's Michelle Yeoh.
Yes.
I
Okay.
googled.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Michelle. I'm
So,
so sorry.
sorry, Sandra. Y'all are both
I
phenomenal.
know she's probably like, we don't all look the same.
Right, right.
And
But,
we get upset when people do that with us, right?
right.
Yeah.
But I can see how that is,
Yeah.
confused. But
Yeah.
yes, you have to hold space for both. Yeah, I was disappointed with Angela.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my lady. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I really was happy for Michelle Yeoh. I really was.
Yeah.
And I try to practice, um how would you say, holding space in for both.
Yes.
Like things are not always diametrically opposed,
Yes. Uh-huh.
Like it could be and. It don't have to be an or, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
I could be disappointed that Angela lost and happy for Michelle.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be two different
Yeah.
things, you know?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think a lot of females, we feel like there's not enough space for all of us. You know what I mean? That's what it
Absolutely.
feels like. So people will pull each other down. But like I said,
Absolutely.
I noticed that you celebrate, and it's interesting you saying you get that trait from your mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. My mom was an encourager. My mom encouraged people that I wouldn't she was a bigger woman, people that have crossed her.
Yeah.
She prayed for people
Yeah.
that have crossed
Oh
her. I
wow.
mean, in many ways.
That takes a lot.
Oh, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
And either, I mean, you could be like, oh, you're better than me.
Yeah.
Or you could be like, wow, that's love. That's showing the love of
Yeah.
God, right?
Yeah.
To look beyond faults and see needs.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
So yeah, I've seen her do it, and I don't. And I mean, me and her have fought many a times over, Mom, are you going for sainthood? Like what? Like, cause me, you cross me, I'm done. Listen,
Yes. You're
I'm
like
from New
me.
York. That's how we do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But my mom's like, the prayer doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes people need, uh,
Grace, right?
grace.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. But I'm learning as an adult that you can be gracious and give people grace, but still have your boundaries.
Yeah.
And I feel that my mom was learning that at the end
Mm-hmm.
more of her life,
Yeah.
about, okay, I can have grace but have boundaries. Because I did see a lot of just, how would you say, I'd want her to hold back a little bit for herself. She was
Yeah.
such a gem,
Oh.
and I wanted her to love herself more in the situations, but she did things her way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm playing Monday morning quarterback. We're looking back. Hindsight's 2020, right?
Yeah.
But I'll never know why my mom showed grace in situations where I would have not. But
Yeah.
that's between her and the Lord,
Yeah. Yeah. It's so
Mhm.
interesting that you said you used a phrase that's been used by so many women on this podcast. You said my mom is a gem. So in every single episode, I believe, there's always a time when a woman refers to her mom as either a gem, a gold, or a diamond.
Yeah.
Every episode.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Yeah.
She is. She's everything. And I hold space also because I don't like when people remember people as for all their good things.
Yes.
I think it's not an accurate
Correct.
representation of who that person was.
Correct. Yeah.
You got to remember the bad things. My mom could be stubborn,
Mm-hmm.
you know. My mom sometimes, like I said before, she could be miserable. You know, like you just came home just yelling, really? As soon as you walked in the door, why the place so dirty? D's on bees. You know, I'm like, oh my God, you just walk in, mommy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's me in my house too. Unfortunately.
oh, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. You know, and don't talk to me if I'm cleaning up your mess.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't ask me questions because you should be here cleaning.
Yeah.
I was the same way.
Yeah.
So she had her ways about her. I feel like my mom was too long suffering.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, she sounds like my mom. Yeah.
I wish she loved herself more.
Oh. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because I wish she saw herself how we see.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. That's powerful.
And so yeah, there's some things that I'm like, wow, but I learned from that.
Yeah.
And I learned how not to be in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because she was just so amazing.
Yeah. It probably affects your parenting as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to parent like her in that way. Even though I'm more towards the gentle parenting, you know, I want to be more encouraging. Well, my mom was very encouraging, so I can't say that.
Yeah.
I just I feel like my mom sometimes didn't want to hear me out on certain things.
Yeah.
Because she like it was like her way or the highway sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And even as a young adult, because my mom passed around the time I was, I think, 24.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she wouldn't want to hear certain things. I would like to do the opposite and allow my daughter to come to me, even if I may be dying inside about it. I still want her to feel heard.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I don't want her to run to anyone else. I want her, if my daughter's in trouble out there, I want her to say, I gotta call mommy, not I'm scared to call mommy.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want her to be like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. I gotta call mom.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy will know what to do.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, I gotta hide this from me.
Yeah.
No, don't hide from me. I will try to control my reaction. If I'm disappointed, I'll try.
You try to fix your face.
Is Jamaican.
Fix your face. Yeah, my face always gives me away, unfortunately.
Right. My face is Jamaican. I don't have a great poker face. I've been told that many times. My husband sometimes I had to tell him, hey, listen, ask me what I'm thinking. Don't go by my face. My face, I have screw face, like bad.
Yeah.
You know, like really bad.
Yeah.
So that's what I want, how I want to parent my daughter. I want her to feel like she could come to me with anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
I just want to end by asking you, because you know your daughter obviously is not going to get to meet your mom,
Right.
But what do you want her to know about her grandmother?
My mom was a pioneer.
Oh.
To come to this country by yourself, you know, in your mid-20s, and knowing you have children back in your home country.
Yeah.
And such a hard worker. I didn't get to the part. Well, I'm gonna get to it now. My mom, she dropped out of RD for whatever reason, I don't know. And she came to this country, and she took, after she was here permanently, she took a test to work for NYNEX, and she got the job. So my mom was able to retire from NYNEX. I think it was Ma Bell first. Then NYNEX, and I think it's Verizon now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Something like that.
But yes. So she was able to retire, and my mom didn't have a high school education.
Oh wow.
and had an amazing retirement with pension and all that.
Oh, wow. What a blessing.
Yes. And then moved to Florida, got her GED at the age of 51,
Wow.
52, and then went to work in a second career as an LPN.
Yeah,
You know?
she is a pioneer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And very Jamaican. She had 2 jobs,
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. It's like she kept reinventing herself. Renaissance
Yes,
woman.
absolutely.
Yeah.
She was a pastor's wife, an evangelist. She worked in the city as a trunk assigner,
Mm-hmm.
and then came and had a second career until she ended up passing away. And I want her to know, Mommy was a pioneer. She was unstoppable. She had a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
She had health. I mean, she got sick
Mm-hmm.
with diabetes from when my sister was born.
Oh, wow.
Which my sister's 6 years older than me.
Yeah.
And then when I was born, I was premature. I was born at 7 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and my mom actually flatlined on the table after I was born.
Whoa.
Yes. She had a mini stroke.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, she was in recovery. I remember she told me the story when she had the mini stroke, and I was just born. She said that she left her body.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
she saw them working on her,
Mm-hmm.
working on her. And she left her body and she went up and she saw Jesus. She saw Jesus twice in her life.
Yeah.
Once when she was a young girl, and once when she passed after I was born, or not passed, but she she
Mm-hmm.
coded. She
Yeah.
coded, and she met Jesus, and Jesus said, "It's not your time yet. You have more to do,
Oh, wow.
and go back." And she did.
Thank God.
She came back. I know, right?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's just the craziest. I remember when she told me that, and how she told me that is we were watching the Passion of the Christ
Oh,
when it
wow.
first came out,
Yeah.
and she was like, we're sitting there watching there, and she goes, "Oh," she goes, "I love the way they portrayed Jesus, but she goes, Jesus had a longer face," and I'm like, "Mom, what?" She's like, "Yes, his face is longer," and I'm like, "Mommy, what are you talking about?"
Whoa.
And she goes, "I've seen Jesus twice."
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Yes." And I'm like, "Go to school with him? Like, what? Was he in class with you?" She told she told me the stories. And I was like, "Wow." She goes, "Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah." And,
incredible.
I'm like, "Wow, that is
Yeah.
incredible."
She reminds me of
I'm
my
telling
mom.
you.
My mom was very much like that, very much in touch and in tune with Jesus and had all these
Yes,
encounters,
yes.
Yeah.
A lot of it. That's why I couldn't get away with nothing. That's why I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I remember when I was young adult, I went to go see a friend perform at this concert thing, and it was a little seedy. I mean, the place, it was like a lot of little, you know, I'm gonna be real. It was like a rock concert, and there was a lot of people wearing like devil things on there.
Oh, okay.
And I just went to go see him perform. It was like a quick set, and I came home. He performed in Ybor,
Mm-hmm.
and I came home, and mom mommy came up to me. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was adult, so I came in, and she was like, "I don't know where you were at, but something followed you home."
Oh,
She was like,
boy.
"I don't know where you were at." She was like, "Don't go there again."
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
And I was like, "Excuse me?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I can't tell you what to do, but something
Oh, my
followed you
goodness.
home."
Wow.
I was like, "Oh my
This
gosh."
discernment, right? The spirit of discernment.
Oh, the discernment was
Yeah.
so off the chain. It was too accurate.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you were getting away with nothing.
Oh no, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I just had to tell, yeah, I couldn't. I was a really good kid.
Yeah.
So hey,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us, Candice. It's been it's been fun actually. It's been a great time learning all about your mom, Dorothy Laura Leard, or Laura Dorothy
Yeah.
Leard, depending on which certificate you're looking at. It sounds like she was an amazing woman. She really reminds me of my mom in so many different ways.
Yes.
But it was so good to hear about this Jamaican, Jamaican. Well, you're
It's
Jamaican.
American. Yeah, I have citizenships to both, to
Yeah.
Jamaica and to America. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
a dual citizen,
Yeah.
through my parents.
Yeah. Did your mom, by the way, did she become an American citizen?
No, she never did.
Yeah.
She was a permanent resident. My dad became American citizen. He did.
Okay. Yeah.
But not my mother. And that's why when I went for my Jamaican citizenship, I went to go through both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom, because her birth certificate, there was this discrepancy, they wouldn't take it.
Okay.
So I ended up getting it through my father.
Yeah.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was very happy that for the last few years of her life, my mom got to enjoy the benefits of having an American citizen, American passport. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. She did a lot of traveling in those last few years.
Yes, and I'm happy.
Yeah. But it has been so great talking to you and getting to know about your mom and her wonderful life and the legacy she leaves behind. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yes, you are so welcome.
And just tell us again, what is the name of your, is it a blog, culture blog? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Culture Candice. I actually stopped blogging while I became a mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's been a whirlwind. I'm an older mother. So it's been a lot. Yeah. But it's been rewarding and amazing. But I did stop a lot of my projects, but I'm going to start writing again. It's culturecandice.com.
I'm happy to start writing. I want to see more content from you because it's very funny.
Absolutely. I definitely will. And I'm starting another project called Oldie But Goodie More.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it's about being, it's for mothers who are, advanced maternal age, 35 and up.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone could, participate. But yeah, it's for that. Yeah. It's for our special type of designation that we have, being older mothers, because it's a thing. I'm tired.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, will that be like a social media page?
Yes. Okay. Yes, it will be. And I'm working on the website and getting contributors to that site.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Well. Yes.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, so I'll keep you updated.
Yeah. So thank you so much to my guest today, Candice Wright.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been great. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Sweet Mother Podcast. We'll be back next time with a story of another amazing mother. A very special thank you to our paid monthly subscribers who make it possible for us to stay on the air. We are listener supported, so if you are able to give a small monthly amount, please click on the Support This Podcast link in the show notes. If you enjoy this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and perhaps even leave a review so we can continue to expand our audience. If you have a question or comment about the show, you can email me at sweetmotherpodcast@gmail.com. If you'd like to hear more from me, check out my blog at medium.com/@soko. That's medium.com/@SOHKOR. You can also find me on Instagram at soko_rights. That's at SOHKOR_rights. Thanks again for listening and see you next time.